Hey there, YouTube. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. It is like now we're on day 6 or day 7 without any sun. I'm looking out, it's raining a little bit right now. Going to be about 20 degrees tonight, but we're not getting hit near as hard as a lot of places. Man, I'm seeing friends out in Texas get pounded with snow. I got friends in Mississippi expecting snow. We're not going to get any of the powder stuff, but it's going to get real low tonight. But anyhow, today I want to talk about why my raw food diet works for me and how to make it work for you. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you go down and hit that subscribe button now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel and can come and check out some more of my content. You know, I doing all the videos that I've done and sharing stuff on Instagram and, just wherever I've shared over the past 8.5 years. I'm just always thinking of a new way that I can share the information, another way that I can maybe, you can crack through somebody that's having a hard time with it. And sometimes it gets tough for me because this is just what I do. And I kind of took to it kind of easily, living in Costa Rica when I came to it. But if I boil it down, why it works for me, number one, it's sustainable. It's sustainable. I can do it day after day after day after day after day without struggling on it. I'm not sitting around going, okay, I better not eat this, or I can't eat, I've eaten too much, or I need to eat less, or blah, blah, blah. There's none of that. None of that. I've had none of that in 8.5 years. And I can't say that any other time in my life by the way I was eating, whatever I happened to be eating at the time. Because it's beyond a lifestyle. Like I said, it's simply my life. It's what I eat. It's what I'm drawn to eat every day. And another big thing about it, I think why this raw food diet works for me to the extent it does, and it's a high raw food diet. I'm not completely raw 100%. And that's one of the things that works for me. I'm not a fanatic. I'm not like trying to, get down into, like, I think there's some people out there that are they think they're going to find that absolute perfect way of following this lifestyle where they're putting the perfect combinations and amounts in their body every day. It's still, there's a lot of guesswork in there, and I'm not going to obsess over being fanatic about it. I'm not going to obsess over, if I eat some cooked food, because like I say, for me, I eat cooked food for a very, very specific reason, mostly one reason only. The biggest reason is because it helps me put weight on. I have and I'll get to the weight part of why I like this lifestyle in a little bit, but when I first went raw 8.5 years ago, I didn't know what I was doing. I ate way too little, not on purpose. I wasn't purposely restricting. I just didn't realize we needed to eat a lot of food and got way too skinny, way too skinny. I mean, at my very lowest, about 4 months after I went raw, I was 142 pounds, and I'm 6 foot. I've got a fairly big frame. Over the year, and you know what? I kind of built back up from that as soon as it almost immediately caught me once I hadn't stepped on a scale in 4 months almost. Once I stepped on a scale, I'm like, oh my God, I've got to put some weight back on, because I started noticing it wasn't just like the scale, the number. I just hadn't paid attention to how I was starting to look in the mirror, and I was just emaciated. I looked malnourished. Point being, I've got a license to eat. In fact, I've got such a license to eat that I've found that it's taken me years to put back on some healthy weight, because this lifestyle, you can just eat so much, and I've never wanted to revert to eating high fat just to put on weight, just to make that number bigger on the scale. So that's the biggest thing. I'm not a fanatic about it. I've found food that I like. That's important too. I think so many people struggle because they haven't established kind of, I'm not talking necessarily a meal plan in the sense that most people think of a meal plan like you bought some book or whatever, and it's got this, and this, but just more of a loose meal plan. And like, these are the things that I really like to eat. You've got to do a little work in the beginning. Whether you buy somebody's recipe books, which I totally recommend. I totally recommend in the beginning, buy yourself a couple of recipe books. Look around, find something that resonates with you, buy you a few recipe books. Pick up a few recipes online. Come up with a few on your own. Once you start seeing how some of these recipes that you've bought or that you pick up online or put together, use that knowledge. You can start seeing similarities like, oh, a lot of people use these in a lot of different dressings or whatever. So just do like that. But you have to, listen, you're not going to be able to live on a diet for the rest of your life. Sometimes I see newbies out there and it's just like, you know, yeah, you got to find something you like because you're living, none of your food looks appetizing. And if you're not enjoying the food, really enjoying your food every day, lifestyle's never going to work for you. It's just never going to work for you. Another reason this lifestyle's always worked for me is like I put everything through I'm very aware. I'm very aware of what I'm putting into my body, and I pay close attention to what I put in my body, like by the timing of when I ate it, what did I eat before that, and how it affects my body. And a lot of the choices, all the choices I make, even including how much cooked food, what kind of cooked food I do, allow into my diet every once in a while, it all kind of comes back to the digestion. Anything cooked or raw that drastically slows down my digestion, I can't do that. Anything that drastically just saps my energy, like eating something, and I've found that out before, like eating maybe restaurant food, this cooked vegan food, like it's good for a minute, but damn, the kick afterwards is just like the energy pull down and just that feeling of lethargy just isn't working. So those are the two big things for me with every piece of food that I put into my mouth. How's it going to digest and how's it going to affect me energetically? And other than that, you just you learn as you go. And let me go back to that word lifestyle. From the very beginning, I guess since I didn't have weight to lose by the time I went raw and I didn't have anything specific to heal, I put no time constraints on myself. I put no, I really had no objectives other than learning about how to make my body as healthy as possible. So I didn't, it wasn't like I was in a hurry to get to any place of being 100% raw, which was never my aspiration, or it was just always about how I felt and about learning and about taking in new information and about experimenting and about plugging new things in over the course of these 8.5 years and having an open mind. So how do you make this raw food diet work for you? First of all, biggest advice would be to slow down. What is the hurry? You just found out about this, most people, if they're new to it. So you've been eating bad in the past, you did bad things in the past, and unless you have some serious health concern, there's no real big quick rush to get there. And if you do have some real serious health concern that you're going to argue with me, you're in a hurry to get there, then you don't need to be getting your stuff from YouTube from some crazy looking old dude like me. But yeah, seriously, slow it down. You're not in any hurry. And I would say do your research. What am I always telling you? Do your research. Do your own research. And do your research with an open mind and put it through a filter. Put it through the filter, which is common sense. Not a whole lot of stuff that I'm doing or not a whole lot that I've figured out along the way has been counterintuitive to my common sense. And other stuff, that's why I like the gimmicky stuff, the feast and the fast, and like doing the just drinking juice for this many days or going on this island every 3 weeks or whatever. None of that stuff has just ever been intuitive to me. In fact, it's always the gimmicky stuff, just from the beginning of this, has just been a big red flashing light for me. That if it sounds gimmicky, it probably is gimmicky and it's not going to work. So, just slow down. Do the research. Use your body. Use your body as a laboratory. How do you feel after what you eat? What I'm always talking about, get yourself a food journal. Hold on. Yeah, get yourself a food journal. Write down what you're eating. Be very detailed in the beginning. Write down how much you're eating, what you're eating. Write down everything that you're putting into your body, every little morsel that you're consuming. If you want to go a step further than that, because like I say, our memories can be a tricky thing. Like we can remember things differently than they really were. And sometimes when you're trying to think like, how did this make me feel when I ate it? You know, the memory might not serve you so well. So write it down after you eat. How did this make me feel? Oh, well, I ate this and it drained my energy, or I ate this and I felt bloated, or I ate this. The more information you write down, like say if you wanted me to work with you one-on-one, you bring me that, or like I give it to you for 2 or 3 weeks and say, okay, go do this, come back to me. Then we know exactly what we're working with. We're not doing any guesswork. Listen, I've mentioned this a number of times since I've been doing videos. I advise people get yourself a food journal, but for full disclosure, I never used a food journal. I didn't need to, but I would have because I'd have used any trick necessary on this. It just, like I say, wasn't that necessary because I guess I got a cheat sheet to this lifestyle. And the longer I've been thinking about this a lot lately, stuck here in Alabama, I don't think it's taken me a while to realize just how blessed I was to have gone vegan, to have gone raw vegan while I was living in Costa Rica. I think that eliminated a lot of steps that certain people need to go through. The fact of living down there, being a loner by myself, I didn't have family I needed to deal with or other people in my household that were distracting me. So I do realize that, but write that stuff down. If you need to do it, write every detail down in a journal. Then if you wanted to work with me, for instance, you could come, you give me your journal, and we go through there and we know exactly what's going on there. And then what we would do is, or what you would do if you're just self-reflecting, you don't go in and like say, okay, this is totally wrong. You go in and you make adjustments. Okay, well, this isn't quite, I'm not feeling great. And then we go in and we say, okay, well, maybe you just tweak it a little bit. And that's what I've done. I've experimented, I've researched, I've put the food in my body to the point where it's just, I just eat fruits and vegetables. You know, I eat lots of salads. If I want a couple of steamed potatoes on there, I put them on there. If you don't want to, don't do it. Don't do it. Some people get caught up on that whole thing. If you talk about one piece of cooked food, they don't want to hear any more about the raw part of it that you're talking about. But it's worked for me. I feel good. I feel like, especially this last couple of years, that's been a little hard on me mentally. I feel like I say the food has been the one thing that just kind of keeps me buoyed. So anyhow, just my thoughts there. Hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you later this week. Peace.